Hi everybody, welcome back. So in today's video, women share stories of how they stop being pickmes. To those of you who don't know what a pickme or a pickmesha is,
it makes you a pick-me when you would make any excuse for a man, when you are always blaming women for a man's bad behavior, when you never hold men accountable, when you would sacrifice all women just so that you can look good in front of a certain group of men. Like when you're saying things like women don't deserve love if they are plus-size women, women don't deserve love if they have a past, they don't deserve love if they have children. When you start sounding more and more like a man, that makes you a pick-me because you're looking for a man's approval. When that means more to you than anything else, that's pick-me behavior.
this is for educational purposes because I know a lot of women don't even know if they are pick-mes, okay? So many things are happening in their lives and they can't sift through it. They don't know if they are pandering to men, if they are auditioning for men, what part of their lives makes them pick-mes. So I hope this helps, okay? Because some of the things that these women share are very eye-opening, okay? I just want you all to sit down, to watch this, and to learn from it. So let's get into the video.
And what it's like to be a recovering pick-me.
Okay, no, but can we talk about it for like 0.5 seconds? When I was younger, in my early 20s, late teens, I was absolutely a pick-me. And I think it's safe to say that for a lot of women in our late teens or early 20s, we were pick-mes. Let's call a thing a thing. But I honestly feel like pick-me behavior is really just a sign of just how much society places women's value and proximity to men. I see a lot of discourse on social media about pick-me women and how disgusting and how gross they tend to be and what they say and things that they do. But what I don't see talked about is why this is so prevalent and why it's an issue. In my opinion, pick-me behavior is a symptom to a much larger issue because underneath all the pick-me behavior is desperation that needs to be talked about. The pressure that society puts on women to find someone manifests in desperate behaviors or being a pick-me. But we put so much shame on being desperate or being a pick-me that no one wants to actually talk about this. But for us to overcome it, it has to be talked about.
I'll never be a pick-mesha ever again because I did the most pick-mesha thing a bitch could ever pick-mesha do.
Bitch, I dead ass begged a man who cheated on me to choose me, to pick me. And it gets worse. Way worse, bitch. Pickmesha level 1000. Like, I don't think anybody could beat me. This man never paid one of my bills. He told me that after birth, I still had to pay my half of the rent, even though I gave birth to his child because I needed to come up with my half. So a bitch went right back to work once I had my child. Literally no recovery time because postpartum was apparently a cop-out. It gets worse. I actually begged him to stay. I blocked the doorway. I believe I got on my knees and asked him to choose me. Yeah, and he was condescending as fuck. This motherfucker was condescending and telling me he doesn't know and that things wouldn't be my way and just laughing in my face. I even washed his feet, like literally, because I was trying to humble myself for him and in front of this man and trying to wash his feet, you know, the way that they wash Jesus' feet and shit. Like if this motherfucker was Jesus. Yeah, I did all of that. The most pick-mesha shit a bitch could ever do. Embarrassing. That's why I would never do it again. That's why I know better. I have learned all of the lessons. I have done the most humiliating pick-mesha things a bitch could ever do. And that's why I'm telling you, don't do that to yourself. Have more self-love, more self-respect, more dignity than to do those things. No one is worth losing yourself over. Being a pick-mesha isn't fucking cool. It's not the vibe. Just for the sake of keeping a man. Do you know how many men there are in the world? A lot. A lot. And there's a lot of good men that would do right by you. And that you don't have to beg or plead or teach them. They're just fucking men. Real men. So please, if you're involved in pick-mesha activities, stop today. In honor of my pick-mesha days, please stop. Let's not do that anymore. It's 2023.
I used to be a self-hating, internalized, misogynistic pick-me who would throw other women under the bus to get the approval of the misogynists I was surrounded by. That's why I can see it. because it took me years to recover and understand what I had been taught was completely fucking wrong. That the people that I was begging, literally begging for validation from, couldn't give a fuck about me because they see me as less than human just for being a woman. I tried for years to be the coolest, to be the funniest, this and that, at the expense of not only myself, but the other women that I wasn't surrounded with because I didn't have a lot of female friends. No fucking wonder. That's why I can see these women who are doing the same thing to themselves. I can see it because I lived that. Much like many women who were born and raised under patriarchy. We have to deconstruct from patriarchy just like people have to deconstruct from religion. It's just as harmful of an ideology, and they are braided and intertwined into each other. Patriarchy holds up misogyny and Christianity. They're the trifecta of suck. If you are on your journey of healing from being someone who had internalized misogyny and you were a pick-me, people-pleasing, please validate me type of girl, I see you. I used to be you. And some days, I hate who I was. But the best thing you can do, healing from that type of trauma, is forgive yourself. And forgive the person that you were, the person that you had to be to survive. And trust me, those men will never love you. They hate women.
This is my story of how I overcame the whole pickmesha mentality. I was dating this guy, and I thought that this guy was heaven sent. Like, literally, by me being with this man, I literally did not want for anything. He would get my hair done, my nails done, send me money, help me with my baby. Like, I literally thought that this was my soulmate. Within 6 months of our relationship, of it being perfect, his child's mother reached out to me and let me know that he was still dealing with her, that he was a narcissist. He actually has a lot of different women. And on top of that, he is mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically abusive. Now, I didn't believe her because, of course, I talked to him about it, and he was saying how they are no longer together. She just really wanted my spot because it was so special, and how she was doing anything and everything to jeopardize our relationship. So, of course, I did my research on her. I looked her up on social media and, doing my little pick-me mentality research, and like, oh, she can never be me, and whatever the case may be. And now I'm trying to actively be different from her, to him. So over time, I'm finding out that everything that she literally told me was to be true. I caught him up with several different women. At this time, I had moved in with him, so I became dependent on him, and it was really hard for me to just get up and leave. In addition, I started, towards the end of our relationship, I started to experience him physically, emotionally, and spiritually abusing me. So as we're going through the situation, the one thing that we really were bonding over was our dislike, or really my dislike, and his cover-up of a dislike for this woman. He used to always tell me that she would make up lies and all this stuff. I mean, despite the fact of everything else that was happening, like, I really felt like I was in competition with this woman, but when it came to him. So I ended up being with him for 2 years, and towards the end of our relationship, I experienced a very harsh reality about who he was as a person. So towards the end, I lost so much weight. I literally
let myself go because this man stressed me out so much that I literally could not focus on myself or keep myself up because I was too busy being involved in all the drama and chaos that he had brought into my life. When I tell you the last and final straw, I was literally in the closet, in the corner, holding my chest. I felt like I was malfunctioning as a human being because of all the trauma that this man had put me through for our relationship.
You don't want to miss this. Ever feel like your sports jersey just blends in with the crowd? Well, check this out. 10 win shirts that you make.
After that situation, I literally had to reach out to old girl and apologize about the part I played when it came to our relationship because everything that she was saying was true. And in reality, she was experiencing the same thing I was experiencing, if not worse, because she had a baby by him. After that, honestly, when I go into dating, I always know that there are two sides to every story. Now, I do know that there are women out there who think that they have such a Prince Charming, and they would try to do anything to get in between him and his new relationship. But for the most part, ladies, if you get a warning from a woman, take it, because trust me, everything that she said, I experienced.
Hi, it's Mia, and welcome to Confessions of a Former Pick-me Girl. I used to be a pick-me girl. I would be mean to other women. For what? For male attention? Ew! I remember commenting on other women's makeup and be like, oh my god, I don't wear a lot of makeup. I like to look natural because I'm a natural beauty. I'm naturally beautiful, so yeah. Girl, look at you now. You have so much makeup on. I love it though. It makes me happy. I learned that makeup is whatever you want it to be. A form of expression, art, sometimes it's even therapy. There are no rules. You just do what makes you happy. I am so done being a pick-me girl. It never brought me happiness. But you know what did? Supporting other women. That actually made me happy. I've got more confessions to share, so like and follow if you want to hear it. Bye!
I am a recovered pygmy. So let's talk about it while I get ready. So for those who know me, this might be very hard to believe, but we were all kids once, and some of us are very susceptible to brainwashing. Just in case you don't believe me, when I first met my best friends, I genuinely judged them for how many people they had slept with. I was that 19-year-old who thought I had to be pure in order to be worthy of my first boyfriend. So I was just flabbergasted that they had been in relationships, but they also got to have fun. Fast forward to now, and I'm engaged to the man that I literally prayed for. Like, I wished for him every birthday. But I had to learn a lot of hard lessons along the way before I got here, so I thought it's time I started talking about it so that you don't make the same mistakes too. Some of my mistakes watch my videos till today, so I hope you're quaking in your boots. On today's episode, we're talking about how guys will say literally anything to get in your pants. Actually, it's not just about getting in your pants, it's also about making you fall for them, with no intention of actually being in a relationship with you. I met the guy who taught me this lesson right after I broke up with my last boyfriend. And at this point, the pick-me inside me was almost already dead. I thought I made it pretty clear that I was just here for a good time, not a long time, but it did not stop this man from trying to play with me. This man would look me romantically in the eye and be like,
you are just wifey material. If we are married to other people in 10 years, we need to marry each other.
Mind you, we've known each other like 2 days. And don't at me for this, but I had just been dumped. So it was like music to my ears. Who doesn't want to be told that they're wifey material? As soon as my face would light up, he would be like,
oh, you are loveless, are you? You love when I say that.
Sir, you just showed your hand. And don't get me wrong, I'm glad this man was foolish, because that was the slap in the face that I needed. And as I said, at that stage, there was still a little bit of pick-me in me. So I kept seeing him, and I kept lapping it up. When I was with him, it was all forehead kisses, and I want you to have my babies. But when I wasn't with him, this man would take a whole week to reply to my text messages. The fact that I kept entertaining him made him feel big, you know? And I'm gonna need more women to realize that our attention is very powerful. Because if I'm being honest, this situation only ended because I straight up asked this man why he couldn't reply to my texts. And this man had the audacity to sit in front of me and talk about how he was sleeping with another girl in a relationship, and he just couldn't understand how he was so special that we both wanted his attention. Mind Mind you, this was only shortly after he told me he didn't want to use a condom because he had had an STD before, and it wasn't that bad. I couldn't even make this shit up if I tried. I just feel sorry for the girl at work who was falling for this shit and cheating on her boyfriend. Moral of the story, bestie, sometimes he's just saying it because he likes how it feels when you like him. Don't listen to his words, watch his actions. And trust me, bestie, you will know the difference. Anyways, I'm done. Let me know if you want me to make this a series, and I'll see you next time.
That right there is Aldi fresh grass-fed beef. The good stuff. And we know it's good because other stores charge you more for it. But you be the judge. Grass-fed beef, everyday low prices. It's an Aldi thing.
The 2024 Kia Sportage was built for adventure. Sportage offers unmistakable.
So I'm what you would call a retired pick-me girl. And for the majority of my pick-me girl career, I was a sucker for a fuckboy. And I've taken away one really key learning from that era of my life, and that is that there's a big and essential difference between a bad boy and a bad guy.
I thought I stopped being a pick-me when I started handling these men the way they handled me. When I was able to fully match their energy, their wit, their finesse, their dominance, and just show up in my most authentic self. But if I'm being completely honest, my death of a pick-me story truly began when I learned to show more grace to women than I showed men. When I stopped bashing women who had not received the level of awareness I felt I had. When I learned that sisterhood meant respecting women's decisions, even when they didn't align with my belief system. When I made it a point to remember that my purpose was tied to my ability to connect with women from a place of love. When I stopped judging women for being my definition of mediocre or having men in their lives that didn't meet my financial standards. It's when I finally learned that hypergamy wasn't for every woman, that some women were suited for isogamy and others would still choose hypogamy no matter what, and that's actually okay. It's when I truly understood that women had a right to choose who they had sex with, dated, or married, because the consequences of those decisions will be theirs to bear, not mine. I learned to understand women who now divest as well as those who will forever be race loyal. I found reason to celebrate women who were content with very little in life while still championing women who want it all. You see, not being a pick-me is more than just creating these lofty standards for men we allow to pursue us. But it's also challenging social norms under patriarchy that has made many women feel and become less protected, less accepted, and more marginalized than others. I'm no longer a pick-me, but it has very little to do with how my views on men have changed and far more to do with how my views of women have shifted. I respect women in their absence and hold no space for a man to use another woman as a stool to prop me up. I stopped being a pick-me when I picked me, when I truly became woman identified, a woman's woman, my sister's keeper. Whether you ever read my book to learn the full way I break down pick-me behaviors of women, it is my desire that you unlearn all that doesn't serve you, that you embrace your womanhood, and that you see the true value in sisterhood, because, ladies, men are not coming to save us. It's time we save ourselves.
So, I hope it makes a lot of sense. Now, I hope that all the stories help you to not make the same mistakes that they made. You taking care of a man, you thinking you're better than other women, you wanting to compete with other women, you putting other women down for men to like you, you pandering to men. It's all traits of being a pick-me, and most of us have been conditioned because since we were little, education, how you look, how you cook, how you clean, everything that we were taught by our moms and our family, like our relatives, everything, like society in general, was for us to grow up and becoming useful to men, basically. And it's time for us to unlearn all the things that we have learned, to reprogram ourselves, to realign ourselves, to tap into our divine femininity and the reason why we as women are here on this planet, okay? Our sole purpose in this world is not to serve men, not to be picked by men. Start doing all those things for ourselves. That's why a lot of women have started decentering men, because our whole lives we've been taught to center men. We've been taught to live for men. That is is it patriarchy? Yeah.
the problems that the patriarchal society that we live in has made for us as women. And it's hard to reprogram ourselves, but I'm glad that recognizing that this is how we have been raised and trying to change that, I'm so proud of all of us. So I'm so glad that they came out and they shared their stories, and I'm so happy that I get the opportunity to reshare this, okay? So each and every one of us can learn from it, can start living